Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations going on to talk about the class rules. Uh, Before we get started, obviously, if we come down here and we look here at the right, we can drop down and choose which ones we want. You'll see that I have two different warrior ones, traditional warrior and points warrior. Um, because the functions that you will use inside these blueprints are completely dependent on which leveling system that you choose. Um, so obviously, in order to create one, you just right click Wonderscape Gas Ally, Class System, Class Rules, and it'll allow you to create one. Now, before we go over what makes them both different, we're going to touch on what makes them both the same. So if you look at the class defaults here, we have quite a bit here. The class identifier, so it's a tag, the class name, obviously, warrior. Display name, so short. Oops, I put that in the wrong place. There we go. So short name. That way, if warrior happens to be too long for where you're trying to put it, you can put WA. That way, if you're going to have an identifier next to their name, or not their name, but their class, I don't know, their character portrait. There we go. You can have WA if you want. And then the class description, very simple for me right now. Focus on max health and strength. Just want to make sure it worked. You can set up an icon for the class if you need that for your game. The color for it, if you need that. Display priority, not necessary. It's there just in case you want it. And then visible in UI. Should the class appear in UI selection lists? Um, Examples of why and why not. And then we have multi-class support here. Does this allow multi-class? If so, how many classes can be combined with the warrior? The warrior being included in this number. So two, meaning the warrior and one other can be combined for multi-class. Now, obviously, you can set it at 0, and that makes it unlimited. But you will get a warning because you could wind up causing a lot of performance issues at first. Um, this hasn't been extensively tested on more than two. So if you go really far, let me know, and we can take a look at the performance changes because until then, we don't fully know how much it'll impact. Now, the last thing that is identical with between the two is class prerequisites. So I put a lot of thought into this and put a lot of consideration into what kind of prerequisites the designer might want to have in order to unlock a class. I used games like Baldur's Gate 3 and I swear there was another one. Oh, and Dragon Age on how things are unlocked for additional classes or even unlocking this class. And I really wanted to make sure you guys had everything that you could. So if we hit the plus sign here, what's the prerequisite? So give it a description. Um, Requires warrior level 10. So required class. So if there's a class that is required in order to unlock this, um, I actually should probably turn this into an array or a container. Um, Let me write that down real quick. All right. So yes, um, required classes. So essentially, warrior needs to be unlocked to become a paladin, as this example. Um, but we may want it to be warrior and priest is unlocked to become a paladin, if you choose to do it that way. Another option is to make it to where, let's see, where is it? So the minimum character level, you have the minimum class level, um, required tags, forbidden tags. There is actually something here that is missing that I had in my setup here. Required attributes. I need to add that too. 1 second. So yes, those are things that I'll go ahead and make sure that I add before I go on to the next the next system that I make. So having attributes will be there being the possibility of an attribute requirement will also be here for you guys to use. Now that is what is the same. Now, as to what is different, in all actuality, the only real difference is which function, that's what I'm looking for, am I using for the starting. So calculate starting attributes for the points. So games like Dragon Age, your class or your companion or whatever starts at level 5. Well, the system needs to know what points go where. And it goes ahead and it verifies that you have enough points before spending them and will never go above the amount of points that you have. It will reduce points in order to make sure it stays at the maximum amount of points that can be spent for you. That way you don't have to worry about there being someone who accidentally has 10 extra points or something. So this is the example that I gave for the, there's two of them, honestly, for the point spending. And then the traditional. Traditional uses calculate stat gains. There's no reason for this one to be on there, so let's go ahead and remove that. And then you have the calculate stat gains. So if we go ahead and break, I was super lazy with it to show that it worked, but you can do the same thing that you did, that I did here, to get information so you don't have anything hard coded. So that's really the difference is which function you use. If you're using Souls-like or you're using point allocation, and the character's not starting at level 1, and you want the points to be at a specific place for them to start. So if you're thinking Souls-like, how you can start out as a knight, or as a vanguard, or as a priest, or I can't remember the name that was given to the Forsaken. So you have no points allocated outside of the bare minimum 1 for everything. This allows you to do that right here. The player would still obviously then spend their points or purchase their points how they see fit from then on, but this allows you to set up the foundation for them. Additionally, if we go in here to the override, you will see you have plenty of places where you can override the class for things that pertain to attributes and for rewards and for pretty much everything. So there is indeed quite a bit here. So do make sure that you understand it. Do make sure you read over everything. And like I said, I will get those additions added in here that should have already been here. As you can see in my documentation in the notes, I had planned to do it and just never did it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.